Yeah, hi peeps. It's Tess back in the old squat box once again, and I've just been watching a video by Shives. He's doing a reading and then a comeback on a presuppositionist's sort of book that's been written. The video, I'll put a link to it in the underbar. It's called Introduction on Atheist Reads Evidence That Demands a Verdict. And yeah, the usual shit with these presuppositionists. They believe that everybody actually knows God exists. But more at the point, these presuppositionist Christians believe that you actually know their God exists, specifically Jesus as well, you know. And I've got to say that, you know, through my own personal experience of life, I know there is no God, and if someone wants me to give them no physical evidence, well, you can't give physical evidence for the non-existence of something that doesn't exist. It's impossible, which is why I know there is no God, but can't actually give you physical data, you know. But what I can do is I can tell you about my experiences in life. When I was younger, I've had several high temperatures. You know, I've had mumps, I've had chicken pox, and you know, different fevers. And you know, when I was a child, you know, and I suppose that's why by the time I was like, you know, 5, 6, 7 year old, I had no belief in God, because some of the sort of visions that I had when I had the high fever were very like the sort of stuff you would be told about people having in the Bible, you know. And I just assumed, even at that young age, that yeah, that's just people, you know, seeing things, you know, imagining things, you know, imagining things that aren't real, because I'd been through it. That my experience exposed me to visions and you know, hallucinations. And I continued to do that through my life. When I was in my teens, I took LSD. I had some fantastic trips, you know. And I understood how, you know, it's very easy to totally change your perception of reality. You only really need to, you know, sit in a dark room for a, you know, a dark, quiet room for an hour or two, you know, with absolutely no sound, if you can possibly do it. You know, stuff your ears up, or put a blindfold on, you know, and do it during the day, pull the curtains, stuff your ears up, put a blindfold on, and just sit there for a while. And your brain starts to imagine stuff which just isn't there, you know what I mean? But I have a more positive, well, you could say positive, negative. Yeah, Kat, I'll be with you in a minute. When I was in my late teens, you weren't fed. I got a fucking cat here wanting fed now. When I was in my late teens, about 18, 19 year old, I was a heroin addict. I was using about you know, a gram of heroin a day, and you couldn't always get heroin, but mostly you could get a hold of pills stolen from chemists. And I overdosed on Palfium, peach Palfium, which are double strength of the white Palfium. If you want to go and look it up on the internet, you can do. Peach Palfium, and yeah, I'll go and feed you in a minute. Just want to finish this video. Yeah, I overdosed on peach Palfium, and I was, you know, for all intents and purposes, I was dead. I'd stopped breathing. My heart had stopped. My brain was probably still functioning. But people worked on me, that they gave me mouth to mouth and you know, heart compressions for long enough. You know, they eventually took turns to keep me alive long enough for the drug to wear off. You know, it's a couple of hours, which is fucking serious work, man. You know, the people I knew back then were true friends. Unfortunately, a lot of them are already dead now and have been for years. But yeah, I was basically dead. I was in a black hole. That part of my life is a black hole. I didn't see any white tunnels. I didn't see any angels. Jesus or God didn't come and judge me and tell me I was either going to hell or going to heaven for the bad things and that. It was just a black hole. Blackness, nothingness, you know. That's what I was during those couple of hours, you know. And the first thing I wanted to do when I recovered was fuck my girlfriend. So there you go. A lot to be said for the emotional stability of the ape that we are. You know, the first thing that really was in my mind as soon as I stopped shivering, because I was cold. I was so cold that when I did eventually wake up for the first time, my body was shaking all over, man. You know what I mean? Trembling all over, because my body core had dropped. They could give me air and keep my blood moving, but they couldn't really put heat into my body. I was cold, you know. I was so cold, I was shivering, I was in, shock, and I ended up in bed with my brother on one side and my girlfriend on the other. As soon as the shaking stopped, first thing I wanted to do was fuck my girlfriend. My brother wasn't very happy about that. He called me all kinds of fucking cunts and shits for fucking, he woke up and found me fucking my girlfriend next to him. But these are what I'm saying, there's no God. I never seen any passage of tunnel of light, didn't hear any harps, didn't see any angels, wasn't judged by fucking St. Paul at the pearly gates, never heard Jesus or seen Jesus or heard God, nothing, blankness. From the moment I keeled over and fell on the floor to the moment I woke up in bed, next to my girlfriend, absolutely just a black hole, nothingness, you know what I mean? No fires of fucking hell, no pitchforks, no devils, no angels, no pearly gates, no fucking white tunnel, nothing. I suppose I didn't see any of that because I just don't believe in any of that. When the brain starts to shut down like that, these are the things, if you talk about Buddhists, they see the Buddhist gods and all that. If you talk about Hindus, they see the Hindu stuff. If you talk about, Christians, they'll see Jesus and stuff. If you go to some African guy, it's going to be like a fucking totem pole or a fucking, a dancing magic sprite that goes through the forest. You know what I mean? That's what they see when they go through that sort of near-death experience. I saw nothing because I don't believe any of that shit exists. I believe that when you die, you just go into blankness, nothingness. You're gone. And so I suppose I seen what I believe. I suppose that doesn't prove that there's nothing there, but I suppose it proves there's no Jesus, there's no God, there's no pearly gates, there's no white tunnel that you disappear down, there's no white rabbit, there's no pitchforks or fires or devils or burning or pain. It's just nothingness. You come from nothing, you go to nothing, Your consciousness is a function of, I don't know if function is the right word, but it's your consciousness is what would you call that? It's a thing that exists only because you're alive and there's electricity being created in your brain. And when that goes away, there's nothing. No gods, no devils, no angels, nothing. But it's not a bad thing. It's not something to fear. It's an inevitable part of life, of what we are. It's a property of what we are as living things, that when we're dead, I mean, who the fuck worries about when we kill a chicken or a cow or a goat or a deer, or you know what I mean? Who cares about where they're going, because they're conscious. They're conscious when they're alive. They obviously think, they obviously have needs. They get thirsty and seek water. They get hungry and seek grass or leaves or nuts or berries or whatever it is they fucking eat, So they're conscious in the same way we are. No, they're just, if we compare their consciousness to our consciousness, they're just more programmed. They are living more on, non-choice. We seem to have a consciousness that has a limited a bit more choice, and therefore you do have people saying that everything you do is preordained, is but it's not preordained because, you could be walking about breathing perfectly fine. You know what I mean? And you're not bent over double choking in the middle of the street on a perfectly fine day. But if you're in a house and wake up in the middle of the night and it's there's a fire and it's full of smoke, you'll start choking, and that's not a conscious decision. The choking is brought on by the fact that your respiratory system is being infringed upon by the fucking the smoke in the air. So yeah, that's induced upon you. But the inducement of the smoke is making your brain do things in order for it to try and survive. You know what I mean? It's built-in thing. It's like pulling your hand away from a burning stove if you accidentally touch it. You know what I mean? Your brain still made that decision. It just made it so fast that we call it an automatic reaction. But it's not an automatic reaction. A message still had to be sent to those nerve endings to make you withdraw from the heat. So yes, there is a lot of this programming involved in what we are as a consciousness. Animals have it too, and it's more easily seen in animals how they are programmed, how they are more aware of danger, and the fight or flight instinct is more instinctive, I could say. It's more at the fore of their consciousness. But they're as conscious as us. They've got as much intelligence as they need to live as the animal they are. We just happen to consider ourselves to have more intelligence. Whether that's true or not, whether we are actually more intelligent than animals, or whether we've just got a hell of a lot more time to think about it, and these animals don't, well, that's something that we could debate, you know what I mean? But yeah, there is no gods. There is no gods, there's never been a god, there never will be a god. It's an impossibility. If you look at the universe and what it is, if you look at life and what it is, living things, cats, pigeons, people, we are just what we are. We are a conglomerate of fucking living cells, a community of living cells which lives together and finds a way to perambulate about, finding the resources it needs to stay alive. Water, food, heat. You know what I mean? That's basically all we are, a perambulatory community of mixed living cells. And one of the properties which emerges from what you call the brain cells is, for all intents and purposes, consciousness, And I think every animal with a brain has some form of consciousness. It might not have what we call full consciousness, the ability to remember the past, but I'm sure they do. Animals remember, mice remember how to go through a maze, you know what I mean? Fucking hell, you can teach fucking ants and shit to go through a maze, you know what I mean? Worms can be fucking taught shit, you know what I mean? And there's even experiments where certain worms have been fed worms that were taught something, and the worms that weren't taught it, once they the bodies of the worms that had been taught it, they knew what the worms that had been taught the thing, they knew what they knew, you know what I mean? Just by eating their body. So it wasn't a brain thing, it was a chemical thing, and the chemical changed their ability to fucking do the thing that the worm that you chopped up and fed to them had been taught, but they hadn't. How did that one win? It went it by eating the other one. That's a fucking crazy concept, man. Fucking crazy concept, you know what I mean? But, it's true, there's experiments we've done, and it works, you know what I mean? And so what is consciousness? What is knowledge? What is learning? All these things are all fucking still up for grabs. There's a fucking billion things out there that we still don't know and will never understand. And there's a quadrillion billion things that we possibly could understand if we spend some time and money and energy fucking trying to learn it, The one thing you don't want to do is say, this book that was written sometime 2,000 years ago over a period of time and changed several times over the last 2,000 years, that's got all the answers. That's truly mental. That's truly so lowbrow and stupid that you might as well just say that nothing's worth fucking looking at, nothing's worth learning. Let's just shut down all the fucking computer factories. Let's all just go out and just hoe the fields and plant carrots and live on carrots the rest of our life. We might as well, you know what I mean? Because it doesn't matter what you do, you know what I mean? Let's just drink water, eat carrots, and wait till we die and go to heaven, you know what I mean? There's no need for us to build shops or factories or motorways or cars or aeroplanes. There's no point in seeing anywhere in the world out of, you know, just interest, you know what I mean? There's no point in that. Because even if people don't believe in God, you know, these damn atheists and these damned African voodoo people and these damn Jewish people and, you know, and the Hindus and, you know, and the Muslims, it doesn't matter, because when they die, you know what I mean, they're going to go to, you know, to Jesus, and he's going to judge them anyway, you know what I mean? So, and there's no point of going out there and proselytizing to them, because I'm sure Jesus is going to give them a quick fucking 10-point test and what they are and what they believe about them, you know what I mean? Because let's face it, as the apologetics say, they might say they don't believe in Jesus, but deep in their heart, deep in their soul, Jesus already put that knowledge there and they know it, they're just denying it. So when they go up there, they might be denying it to you face to face, but deep inside them, they actually believe, and Jesus is going to judge them on what they believe inside, not what they say to you when you talk to them. So let's all just, you know, live in a hut made out of fucking chopped down branches and some grass sod, and live on water and carrots till we die. And you know, if we don't have hospitals, we're going to die all the quicker, because Jesus and God, you know, they designed us very badly. Without all the fucking technology we've got, we'd all be dead by 21 or 22 anyway, you know what I mean? Fucking hell, the first fucking, you know, compacted wisdom tooth you've got is going to murder you. You're going to get an abscess, it's going to spread to your brain and kill you. You'll be dead by your time you're 22, you know what I mean? So, let's not bother with all this technology, let's not bother with these mega churches, let's not bother with it, let's just build a fucking shack and live in water and carrots, you know what I mean? Or maybe a little bit of fucking, you know, turnip and totties or whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever you can find in your area to plant, you know what I mean? Raw garlic, a few herbs, you know what I mean? Because after all, God planted all that stuff for us, didn't he? And, yeah, okay. There's my cat. He's getting all uptight, so I've rabbled on. Anyway, you know, there is no fucking gods. There's absolutely no fucking gods, you know what I mean? And I think I've described enough fucking information here for you to make your mind up to know that there is no God. You don't have to be sitting on the fucking fence anymore thinking, well, maybe there's a God, I'm agnostic. No, there's no fucking gods. And if you still doubt that there might possibly be some God hiding out there somewhere, you know, in the universe, you know, behind the moon, behind some fucking far distant star, just waiting for you to believe in him in order for him to expose him and say, ha ha, you caught me, yes I exist. No, you're a fucking idiot. So there you go. Hey peeps. Scungy fucking bar, motherfuckers.